Hello there, Grumpy Old Fart here. I'm doing a movie review of the movie Ghostbusters. And I know everybody has seen this movie. It was a worldwide classic hit, immediate hit all over the world, and it was a sequel. It was good. And they've done a movie since then that had an all-female cast, and I didn't think that movie was that bad. A lot of people thought it was crap and blah 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 blah, and it definitely had its bad points, but it wasn't a loss. It had some good acting in it, and it was funny, which is what the movie's supposed to be, right? Now, this was the one I'm talking about that was made in 1984. It is an action comedy fantasy, and this is one of the funniest movies ever made. Uh, you can't. It has so many iconic lines and so many iconic scenes. People can quote this movie, and people have been quoting this movie. It's got a soundtrack that's just really great. It has a has its own theme music and everything that people recognize. It, the name of the song is Ghostbusters. I mean, the basic plot is that there's a group of former parapsychology professors, and they set up shop as a team of ghost removal specialists. So if you have a ghost problem, they'll come and remove it for you. That's the idea. And they inadvertently uncover an apocalyptic and prophetic emergency, where the ghosts are all going to come back and take over the world, and they have to stop it. And it's a good movie. If you've not seen it, I highly recommend it. Um, the cast, you got to appreciate this. Bill Murray plays Dr. Peter Venkman. Dan Aykroyd plays Dr. Raymond Stantz. Harold Ramis plays Dr. Egon Spangler. And Ernie Hudson plays Winston Zeddemore. Uh, Winston Zeddemore is not a doctor. They needed help because there was only three of them and they were getting run ragged, so they needed to hire somebody so they could have two teams of two. And of course, he showed up and applied for the job. Rick Moranis plays Louis Tully. Annie Potts plays Janine Melnitz, the secretary, and Sigourney Weaver plays their client. Her name is Dana Barrett, and all these people are good. There's not a bad one of the bunch. Everybody in here is comedy genius, and they're all good. So when you think of Sigourney Weaver, you don't think of comedy genius, but her acting is just off the charts. She's really good. The standouts, I got to go with Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, and Harold Ramis together are an iconic comedy trio. They play off of each other, and they make each other better. Each one of these guys can stand on his own in any arena, but together they're virtually unstoppable. They're so funny. But I'm going to go with Ernie Hudson as standout because Ernie Hudson is such a great actor, and he's the guy that come in and applied for the job and got it because they needed somebody else to work. Ernie Hudson he plays the straight guy in the comedy routine, and a lot of times people don't, they're too busy watching the comedy and they don't see the guy that they play off of. Ernie Hudson is that guy, and he does it well. He is a voice of reason in a storm of chaos. One of the best lines of any, and it was indicative of the time as well, early 80s, or 84, yeah. Uh, Jobs were hard to come by. It was getting better because Reagan was in there and jobs were coming back, but it took a while to recover from all the crap Carter and those others before had done, Ford and all them. So it was taking a while to revive the economy, and jobs were coming back, but it took a while, and jobs were hard to come by. And when he came in and applied for the job, Annie Potts was asking him, "Do you believe in Atlantis, and the theory of Atlantis, and ghosts and apparitions and all that, blah 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 blah?" And he said, "Bigfoot and all that." And he says, his response was classic. He says, "There's a steady paycheck in it. I'll believe anything you say." That's what it boils down to. Got to have that job. And so they came in from a job. They were all tired, and she says, "Oh, we got a new job app." He goes, "Well, great, you're hired. Come on in." And they started showing him around and doing his thing. And then later on, when they were before a judge, he goes, I've only been with the company for 3 weeks, Your Honor, but I've seen things that'll turn you white. It was hilarious. Ernie Hudson is a great actor. He's funny. Everything about it is funny. But yeah, if you get a chance to see this, the movie is Ghostbusters from 1984. If you've not seen it, the sequel, Part 2, Ghostbusters Part 2, is good as well. It's not as good, but it's still pretty good. It's definitely, worth the watch. Even the later ones with the all-female cast, it's not a sequel or a reboot. I don't know exactly what you want to call it. It's a standalone movie, and it's still pretty good. It's not as good as this, but it's still pretty good. A lot of people had some problems with it, with the acting and the fact that it was all female empowerment bullshit. And I don't have a problem with a strong female, as long as they can stand up to their own. But I like these four comedians. They're quality actresses. They're quality comedians, and they did a good job. It's hard to follow in this footstep, follow behind these guys and try to remake what they did. I don't know of anybody who could, but the girls did a pretty good job. I didn't have a problem with it, But anyway, the one we're talking about is from 1984. If you get a chance to see it, the movie's Ghostbusters. You folks have a good day. God bless one and all.